All right, what's up, guys? Luke here. Welcome back to the channel. For my subscribers, I apologize. It's been a little while. Just letting life catch up. Anyway, yes, as you see from the title, I actually rented my car on TURO. And if you're not familiar with TURO, it's basically like an Airbnb, but for cars. So um, you can just basically, any car you have, you can just kind of like rent it to the public. They're kind of like a middleman. They take care of the insurance if you want. And they just basically, get the payment from them. They take their cut and then pay you the money whenever the trip is over with. So I saw some other people with, Hellcats or kind of higher end cars and stuff like that, making a couple $100 a day. So I was like, well, now with my new job, I'm going to be driving it even less. Maybe I could just make some money with it while it's sitting there. If it could pay for the payment, maybe that'll be a good thing. And I figured I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I might not get too many people, and maybe the people that would rent it wouldn't just be, kids or something like that on the weekend. It actually been a few months. I'm just going to kind of give you a story, kind of a walkthrough, and maybe a couple pictures of how it went. But it's actually been a couple months since I put it up there, so I actually forgot that I had it up there. And then all of a sudden, I got an email saying your car is booked, and it was like 2 days away. I was like, oh, and but I was like, all right, it's okay. I saw the lady. She looked kind of like a middle-aged lady. Said she was going to be down visiting her mom, and liked muscle cars and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, no big deal. She just wants to kind of, you know, drive a Hellcat. So I had it up there for $220. I went high because they take a decent cut when you have them, do the insurance and take care of everything and all that. So I think I ended up getting probably about $180 of that. But then I don't have to do anything. So basically, how it works is you can put your car up there, you take a bunch of pictures, you do a description. It's almost like eBay or something like that. When you're doing the description, you want to kind of talk it up and make people want to rent it, I guess. You can set up dates and times when people can rent it and when people can't rent it. You can edit that at any time, and maybe I can try to throw up a screenshot or something like that to show you guys kind of how that works. Um, so basically, the rest of the story was, we exchanged phone numbers. There's like a little message screen that you can, kind of talk to back and forth. And we just kind of, I was going to say I was going to meet at my old job. Well, now I'm not there anymore, so I didn't want to meet there. Plus, I didn't have a great way to get back. I didn't really think that through, and my wife was working, so I didn't want to try to round up a friend. So I just said, "Hey, can I pick you up, kind of like Enterprise, and then drive you back to my house?" And she's like, "Oh, we'll just come over there. That's no problem." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." So they actually met me at my house. Ends up being the lady, and she has two sons. And one of the guys was like me. He was dressed up in Mopar stuff. He had on a Super Bee hat, and he was like dodged out, right? And she's like, "Yeah, this is all for him. He's been a Dodge guy his whole life, and Hellcats, like the Holy Grail, And I thought it was kind of neat that somebody was actually going to, really enjoy the car and really knew about it and things like that. So they said they were going to be going to Gatorland, which down here in Florida is just kind of like a amusement park full of gators, which is about an hour south or something like that. So from here, they show up. You want to they make you take pictures beforehand, which is good. That's fine. I was going to do it anyway. um, so you take pictures of the outside of the car, inside of the car, basically as many as you want. I just took a bunch, and they have them upload it to their app. And then once the, kind of gives you updates all the way, hey, your appointment is in an hour. Make sure that you check in. And when they get there, they say take a picture of their driver's license. And then we did all that, and they went away. It's kind of odd going through all that when you have a car that you really love and you've put work into and stuff. Um, I just kind of went over a few things, like be careful going over bumps and try to back into curb stops and things go through your mind, like if you're going to give your car to your wife or something like that. Like what you want to tell her, before she takes it, which I've been there before. So just trying to think of all the things, hey, do this, do that, obviously don't do like 9 burnouts. Um, so those are all things that you don't really think about until the time comes. And then see, I don't take my car through car washes and stuff like, well, the ones that beat your car up and stuff. So I didn't want them to think they were doing me a favor by washing my car before they gave it back to me, because it was only for 24 hours. So it was for 8 a.m., this day till the next day. So I didn't want them washing it and taking it through some machine, beating it, or taking it into into one of those bays and just scratching the crap out of it, one of those brushes. So that was something I thought of like halfway through. I said, hey, don't worry about it being a little dirty. I'll wash it. Just don't take it through an automatic machine or use a brush or anything like that. So, and she's been fine. She kept up via text the whole time. So an interesting thing about being in a small town and working at the Dodge dealership, I just left a couple weeks ago. One of my friends there says, "Hey, is somebody driving your car?" And I was just kind of like, I didn't tell anybody. I was like, "Yeah, actually, I rented it on Turo." He's like, "Oh, well, they're up here right now, and some kid's driving it." And he went in to buy stuff at the parts store, and I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, it was supposed to be his mom driving it. So I was like, that kind of threw me off at first. I'm like, because technically, when you're renting a higher end car, I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was over a certain MSRP, or I forget how they did it, but it's like if it's over a certain MSRP or meets a certain specification, they put you in different classes, like, economy car, SUV, and then like luxury or performance or something like that. So the car fit into that category, and then you have to be a certain age, which is 25. You have to have like a certain amount of insurance to prove it, and you have to have like a deposit, or like put a hold on a credit card for a pretty significant amount. It was like $1,000 or something like that. So it's not like anybody can just come and do this. So I was kind of upset that I got like catfished a little bit, I guess. And now the kid is driving it around. Um, so I didn't really know what to do at that point, because it's like, okay, do I make a big stink about it? I met the kid. He seemed like a pretty decent guy, but of course, anybody can put on a good front. Um, and then I just kind of let it go, and I was just going to kind of see where it goes. I mean, it's insured and all that. I hate to think about that, but anyway, funny thing is, before I knew that, I sent the mom a message. I was like, hey, if your son's bored on the way to Gatorland or whatever, tell him to check out the YouTube channel. It's relatively famous. It was just a joke, just to give him something to watch, things I've done to it and stuff like that. So I guess he finds out, from YouTube, my Instagram, and at like 11:30 at night, he sends me a video of him like remote starting the car and says going for a night ride. And I was like, okay, well, I guess he's not trying to hide it. So I was like, all right, okay, whatever. Just, be calm or whatever. I mean, I really don't know what to do at this point. It's like, if nothing happens, it's not really a big deal. Because what am I going to do? Call Turo and be like, hey, they didn't do this, and then make a big stink about it. It's like, if nothing happens, whatever. So I just kind of let it go. And I kind of checked out his Instagram page at that point to see what he was like. And I mean, he seemed like an okay guy. He has a Dodge Ram truck, and he seemed like a good kid or whatever from his posts. Sometimes you can tell someone, from their posts quite a bit. Didn't have anything crazy up there. He actually ended up building my exact car in like Forza or something like that and sending it to me. So it was kind of neat. Anyway, long story short, got it back the next morning. Of course, his mom's driving it back in like I don't know anything. It was fine. Nothing. They actually didn't even use as many miles as was on it. I think it came with 200 miles is kind of like what it was. You get 200 miles a day. Used like 140. So everything was fine. It was they went down a white sand road, so it was like a little bit sandy, but no big deal. I just washed it myself. I mean, really everything went smooth after that. They gave me the keys back, and then within like a couple hours, Turo deposited the 180 something dollars into my bank account. So if you're thinking of maybe putting your car on Turo, everything went okay for me in the end. It was a little bit sketchy because the mom basically bought it for the son to drive. I'm thinking, like, I'm sure she probably drove it a little bit. The heck was that? So I'm sure she drove it a little bit. But the kid drove it a little bit. And I say kid, I know he could have been like 22 or 23. You never know with kids these days. They all look so old. And I mean, looking back at me, I mean, I was pretty responsible when I was 20, 21 and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I had an SRT4 with, that ran 12s. So, I mean, it was whatever. Um, but just kind of keeping in mind, outside of that, I mean, everything went okay. The whole process worked really smoothly. The app actually worked really good. It's just that feeling, that feeling when it's away, you're just kind of like nervous, like, oh my gosh, what if they do this or what if they do that or so you're just kind of on edge a little bit, and I'm sure that might go away if you do it a lot, I guess. Um, but hey, I mean, if you can make $180 or more a day, um, that's considerable money for what may or may not happen. That's insured anyway. So now me, I have two car seats in the back with my kids, when I need to take them, which is rare. But for me, I had to, take all the car seats out, clean it, take the protectors off and all the stuff. So, and then when they're done, I got to put them back in and so, if anybody's put car seats in, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I don't know. I've got it down off of Turo right now. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. Not because of the way that it happened. I just think for me, and what I have going on in my life. And right now, to do something like that and having to keep change everything and worry about it, um, I probably won't do it anytime soon. But just to give you guys my experience, that's basically what happened to me. And if you guys have any questions about the process or what else might have happened, just hit me up in the links or in the comments below, I guess. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you haven't seen my other videos on my Hellcat, be sure to click the link. It'll probably be over here. I don't know where it ends up, on my Hellcat. And I've got another series on car buying advice as well. So anyway, if you liked the video, of course, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe and definitely check out my other videos in the car. And I'll see you on the next one.